episode 4 of Art Brunch Archives. I'm the host of Art Brunch, Rick Bowling. Much of this show works well as audio only, but there are times when we're referencing images on the screen. We host these archives on both Apple Podcasts and Spotify, as well as YouTube. In the podcast description, I will share the link to the YouTube video and vice versa. Lastly, before we learn about Moira, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It really helps out. If you want to watch these talks with our community live on Twitch, I've included those links in the description as well. I met Moira while art handling for Ai Weiwei's exhibition at the Mildred Lane Kemper Art Museum here in St. Louis. We have a lot of crazy stories from that, and we'll need to find another time to share those. In this talk, Moira and I talk about art practice research, the evils of Jeff Bezos, and we tell a lot of jokes. On a technical note, some of this video has poor syncing between audio and video, an issue that we have solved after episode 7. Please look at the points of interest in the timeline and in the description to aid in your navigation, and enjoy the show.
Thank you.
So what I like to do to start off these interviews is I like to read you your horoscope from the previous week and ask you how it applied, or some things that may just not applied. I think they're interesting litmus tests to begin to recount the week. Mm-hmm. So you are a Pisces.
Wait, first question.
Yeah.
What is the source of this horoscope? What's the, where are you reading
from?
Oh,
this is horoscope.com.
Oh, okay. Shit. Well, that sounds very legit.
Yeah. I haven't gone through the process of finding a website that I most accurately ascribe to.
Okay.
But I feel like, if you were fortunate enough to grab horoscope.com in the late 90s, then you probably put in some effort into the platform.
Yeah. I feel like they're at least a step above newspaper zodiac readings.
Oh, the ones that, do you remember the little horoscopes that were rolled up little slips of paper at so when you're in a grocery store, there sometimes on the immediate buys or the special buys, they'd have a little carton, and there were all these tiny little rolled up scrolls for all the different horoscopes, and you could pick one out, purchase it, open it.
I would recommend CoStar. That's
CoStar,
an entertaining app that I never look at, and yet their Instagram is full of pretty hilarious memes. So that's what I base my knowledge on, and by knowledge I mean nothing. Anyway.
Do you prefer CoStar? Do you think we should switch over?
You can do whatever. I was just merely curious of the source.
Yeah.
And figured I would plug a meme page at the same time.
Okay, so from August 17th to August 23rd.
Yes.
It reads, lifestyle and wellness issues get a boost on Monday as a lively meeting of the Sun and brainy Mercury encourages you to streamline your routines. This may be something you've been focusing on over recent weeks, but this time some good advice can help you zero in on your main goals and concerns and work efficiently to create the outcome you desire. It goes on to say, with the new moon in the same sector on Tuesday, this is the perfect time to initiate new practices. If you want to eat better, exercise more, and generally be more productive, this is a great opportunity to let go of whatever's holding you back and embrace new, more positive habits. Finally, relationships are emphasized from midweek as lively Mercury and the radiant Sun move into Virgo. The coming weeks are perfect for cooperation and communication. You're better off working as a part of a team than going at it alone because you'll be able to accomplish much more.
This is very curious. It's been a very long week, seeing as my roommate's been out of town. So I've seen her for probably about 12 hours collectively in August. And so just to, I was in Colorado the first week of the month, and then I came back. And then 5 minutes later, I decided to go camping and run away from the world and be totally off the grid. And then I came back from that to, an empty house and time. I could talk about time as is, but things dragged on, and I actually think that I have pretty I guess, yeah, it's probably a bit subjective and maybe better in the summer, but I think that I have rather healthy lifestyle habits. I really like food, and so I like making food and experimenting with things, and it's not like, it could be very simple, or it could be like me totally winging it and being like, how many more things can I do before this is ruined? So I missed my roommate, and I was having a bit of postpartum camping depression. But actually, you know, I guess I finished like a book or two, and I didn't have a laptop for the whole last year because I spilled water on it. And like 6 weeks ago, I got this iPad Pro, and we're kind of in a mostly love-hate relationship because I'm just like, why are you not providing for me? So I'm coming to terms with some of my limitations there, and then like trying not to also still fall back onto using like my phone as my primary tech. But I also don't really like I don't really like doing things digitally if it can be avoided. I think that a lot of my processes involve like piles of physical objects or paper. Like my room is mostly like stacks of books, and maybe there's not a clear surface, but it's very creatively organized. As my little sister used to say, we shared a room for 19 years. So it's not messy, but there's like stacks of things, and I'm reading like between 9 and 19 books, or I don't know if anything necessarily changed in the week. But you know,
do you feel like you have a poor relationship with technology? Like you fit in better in the physical world, and technology is like maybe out to get you a little bit?
Sometimes I feel like it like tests me. It's like if I'm the bear, technology is trying to poke me and be like, like how can we, like, I think that with my general like lifestyle practice, and like someone who does yoga or like likes to move, I wouldn't say slowly, but just at an unrushed or regulated pace. So technology is over here like testing me, if not taunting me, to like break that sense of calm. I don't know. That's why I like reading. Reading like actual books. And then like, especially with this iPad, it said it was like, you know, freaking developed for designers, and then I'm over here with like Photoshop and every other thing that I want to do. I can't even resize images. It's like, oh, it hasn't been developed yet, and I'm like, what? What? So and also like using my phone as my primary thing. I call them tech boxes. I call Instagram Instagerm. Like, it feels like a little bit insidious for me to like be so dependent on these like little urns of information, because it's my mom, whenever she would like ground me as a child and take away my phone, she was like, everything on there will be there in 7 hours and 7 days and 7 months and 7 years. And so now I think about that all the time, because I'm just like my phone's typically on do not disturb, and then like to have to buy a plane ticket or file for unemployment or even like edit an image on my phone completely and potentially communicate with a person feels very phony in a non pun intended way. But I also am just like, it just feels like another degree of separation.
And what I've noticed about technology, and like when you get used to using a phone for everything, there are a bunch of like there are a bunch of ways of like doing things with digital work, or like resizing images, that are just kind of like workarounds, because it's not super easy. But then you kind of get into this zone where you understand the limitations of the technology, and then you're able to manipulate whatever you want to make it work within the limits of that technology, and that's really helpful. So then you move to like an iPad space where you think it's actually going to be better,
but it's just a jumbo phone.
It's just and it's actually worse in a lot of ways.
Yes,
because you think it's going to be better.
I'm like, oh, this will be more legit because I have like a physical keyboard,
Mm-hmm.
but it still tests me to no end. And like,
it's flimsy.
I also find that especially phones are like the epitome of all the shortcuts that you could put into place on Photoshop, for example, because I'm like, you know, especially now it seems like a lot of people are trying to voice that they have like phone call anxiety, which I do completely understand. Like I prefer when people are like, hey, I'm gonna call you or FaceTime you, then I can at least ensure that I'm not gonna be like sitting on the toilet. Although for some people it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But like I prefer talking on the phone because I don't know, like you can't really evoke as many things via text, and then I just get long-winded, and I'll like read a text and then put my phone there, and then like in 7 days I'm like, oh fuck, I did not ever respond to that, and you can't like mark it as unread. But then there's this weird like kind of phony dichotomy of the fact that like I do use my phone primarily for the camera and video, and I do take a lot, like I have a lot of notes on my phone that are then like shared simultaneously to my iPad. And sometimes I prefer handwriting and reading things, but then I also am like, well, I guess it's 2020 and I do need to like moderately keep up with the modern age. Yeah, okay.
We have one of the favorite segments here of the Art Brunch show, and I'm going to play y'all a brief little video introducing this next segment. All right, so this is the Bloody Mary Gauntlet.
Ooh.
The Bloody Mary Gauntlet here. We have a new challenger. I'm gonna let that one go, Mr. President. We've got a new challenger here. It is the Sucker Punch Gourmet Bloody Mary mix. We like to read what's on the bottle because I love bottle copy.
I do too, and once I read the nutritional facts of Parmesan to my family and then an hour later quizzed them, and I was like, none of you guys were even paying attention, and I was reading you the damn nutrition facts.
Yeah.
You need to know.
What were the highlights?
Well, predictably, Parmesan's rather salty.
Oh,
so, yeah. Also, this was several years ago, so I also can't really. Anyway.
Okay, so Sucker Punch is a brand that we get from Whole Foods. It's one of 2 Bloody Mary mixes that they have at Whole Foods. This is the one I'm more excited about. Last Art Brunch, we had McClure's Bloody Mary mix, and it was just kind of like, it was a bit tomatoey and kind of, it didn't have any kind of like anything unique to it. It is made with Sucker Punch pickles, which I'm not sure what that means. Maybe that's that
means that we're going to have a pickle tasting.
Oh, yeah. We have pickles, but they're not Sucker Punch pickles. Sucker Punch Gourmet believes in bold flavors using only natural ingredients that are free of additives or preservatives. So that's
my
good.
Shit.
Yeah. Other than that, there's no like, it's handcrafted bold flavor, but there's no like copy. Like,
can I see it?
Yeah.
What's funny too is like, this dude looks so strong and like weirdly veiny, and he's literally holding tomatoes.
Yeah.
Like, your veins would not be popping like this at all.
Yeah, it's not spinach.
I love that this is the Bloody Mary that we're trying today because part of my like I'm not going to say bougie because it's definitely not that, but I do have some standards, and having like curly hair and living in the armpit of America, I'm like pretty particular about what I'm putting onto my head or in my body. So I like things that are rather pure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's a coaster there for you.
Yay.
So I have the website pulled up here. Pickles, pimentos, bacon, jalapenos, vodka, Bloody Marys, tequila Bloody Marys. How do you drink your bloody? The possibilities are endless. But the best way to start is with clean ingredients. So that's what you said.
Yeah.
Our award-winning Bloody Mary mix has 7 simple ingredients. Oh yeah, I can read the ingredients.
Honestly, the only thing I'm seeing right now is garlic pickles.
Yeah. Yeah. Added flavor, spice. So they must also be like a pickle company, right?
Well, I love pickles, and sometimes I have been known for, when you have all of this like delicious brine after you finish a jar of pickles, I would recommend adding however much gin you want to that. And then the end. I call that ocean water because it's very it's very salty. But another random thing from a jar that I've been taste testing this summer is like leftover jars of pickled beets. First of all, the color is beautiful, and I'm like, I don't want to pour this out because it's like this delightful fuchsia color. So then recently I'm like, I'm gonna slice up some cucumber and some, like, just throw in a bunch of mint and some ice cubes and some gin, and then you have this like very cute drink. I don't follow recipes. I really just make shit up on the fly because I'm like a bit like as a kid, my adults used to say that I was directionally challenged, and I had to go to tutoring to learn how to like comprehend instructions in order. But I remember once telling my tutor like how to draw a house, and that it did not look like a house. So I don't follow recipes. I just make things up or like go with some sort of instinct. And if it's bad, then like I'm the only one that knows. But gotta say, it's not really been a problem. So yeah, here's to experimenting.
I'm all here for that.
But I do want to try these pickles, like not these pickles, but like the sucker punch pickles.
I know. Yeah, we'll get those. We'll get those for you next time. Put them on your rider.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we judge Bloody Marys on 5 distinct qualities. We have spice, quality, flavor, mouthfeel, and uniqueness. Okay. Quality is like quality of ingredients. So we can go ahead and start to consume. Got these nice reusable metal straws.
I am a big fan of reusable straws.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's a Bloody Mary for sure.
Yeah, that's a good one. And now I'm realizing this is my first Bloody Mary of 2020. So congrats. It's my half birthday, another irrelevant holiday. But now it's also first Bloody Mary of 2020.
I think that those two things come together well. Half
I
birthday
would say that
and
seems
Bloody
only
Mary.
logical. Yeah. So for spice, I would say that we're like at a very happy medium point. Like I could go for like a splash of some pepper or sriracha. I really like when my Bloody Mary has like a pickle, a jalapeno, and a good olive. We're not just talking like there's no black olives in Bloody Marys. I'm talking like a good healthy green olive.
We had green olives with garlic cloves, but I ate them all.
Okay, I was about to say, where is it?
Yeah,
and also, better answer. I would say that this is like maybe maybe a 4 or 5 on the spice. Yeah. It's just like it's good.
To clarify, that's where it ranks. So like something can be too spicy.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So something really spicy isn't necessarily a 10.
Right.
This scale is your scale of how much you like the spice levels. We're clear on that?
Okay, yeah. So I would still stick with like a 5.
Yeah.
Like I could go for it to be like a little zestier, but I'm glad that it's not less than what it is because I don't want to be drinking some like V8.
It's nasty. That's not the move.
I mean, like low key, I did like V8 as a kid. I was like that weird 13-year-old who was like, "Oh, you guys are drinking like root beer while I'm drinking tomato juice."
Okay.
Yeah.
And if anybody's having if anybody's having something to drink or Bloody Mary out there, leave it in the chat. Let us know what you're drinking this morning for brunch. I'm also gonna go with a 5. A 5. I almost kind of want to go with a 4.
Yeah.
It's like,
let's say 4.5, because that's
Yeah.
kind of like what I'm thinking in my mind.
yeah, we'll split the difference. Okay. So the quality of ingredients is kind of the next step. This is water, tomato paste, distilled vinegar, cucumber, salt, garlic powder, and spices.
Yeah, and that sounds good.
That's
That
like-
sounds like I could make this very easily myself.
Yeah. I don't know how it could get any better.
No, I mean, if you would have said something unpronounceable, I would have been like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
But I'm not like pretentious in that way. I just I like to be able to read what I'm consuming.
Yeah, no, I'm all here for that.
Yeah.
So do we think that that's just like a solid 10 of quality ingredients?
Yeah, I would say good job, Sucker Punch.
Okay, and then the next one is flavor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have another sip here.
Tastes like a Bloody Mary.
It does.
Yeah.
It's like very classic.
Yeah, it's like just like I wish that this was like the standard, because I wouldn't want anything less than what this tastes like.
Yeah, like this is the base of a good Bloody Mary.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, yeah, like we know that you can really ball out with some Bloody Marys, and then you're just like, where's, like, what part am I even drinking? Is this just like gazpacho in a cup? So yeah, no, I wish that this was like that healthy platform for all other Bloody Mary combinations, because this is good.
Yeah, it's good. There's some really good complexity kind of on the back end of it.
Yeah, there is this like in 10 seconds from now you'll be like, oh, I feel a little warm.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the I don't know. I also will say that, like, I was telling you about this fish soup that I was making yesterday, which was delicious, and now I'm like, I could use this as my fish soup base too.
That's perfectly timed with a chat message that we have that says, Mr. President says, I love gazpacho in a cup.
Oh, that's great.
Previously, excuse me.
Who is Mr. President, and why is he not trying to challenge Kanye West?
That's true. Earlier, the same person, Mr. President said,
Mr.
Bloody Mary guide. Pour in the vodka, then the mix, then pour it down the drain, and make a White Russian instead. So we got some serious Bloody Mary haters in
I'm
the
gonna
chat.
say White Russians are for the Big Lebowski and other old white men, and you don't look cool for being like, yeah, I love White Russians. All I hear is, I'm white and I'm drinking milk with alcohol. So that's my Bloody Mary stance to counter the White Russian. I'm just like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, so get fucked.
Yeah. Exactly. Thank you for taking the words out of my head.
Mr. President says, I don't try because I pity Kanye. So
well, pity is an interesting term. I would say that obviously I'm not going to be voting for Kanye West, but I was listening to some Kanye this morning. I was listening to a very wide range of music, but I'm concerned for Kanye. I wouldn't say that I pity him, because what is there to pity? I think he needs support. And really, like, any even the people who have been the most canceled and most justifiably ousted. First of all, Kanye is not in that group, and second of all, I think that the aftermath of cancel culture is then like a critical support base where you're like, okay, well, you seriously fucked up, but like, what are you gonna do now? Just stay at the bottom of this well? Well, you should in time out for a while, but like, also, you do need this kind of constructive support base to be like, okay, well, where are we going to go from here? Because you're not going to be over there on Pedophile Island for the rest of your life, unless you should be, and some people should be.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a whole different rant.
Yeah, well, I have very strong feelings about Kanye West and the way that his movement through popular culture, and he talks about a lot of how, you know, if he wasn't a black man, he would have been treated very differently all throughout his career.
Yeah, can you imagine if Eminem was like trying to toss around running for president? Everyone would be like, LOL.
Yeah.
The end.
And like Eminem has gotten away with like much more heinous things than Kanye West has. I think that people don't like Kanye West like influence on culture. Because I wouldn't say that like Eminem has the same kind of influence on culture, like in a broad sweeping, like American culture as Kanye West. And so I think that that's it. But like also, I have very strong feelings. I think that he has done a lot for a lot of people and has pushed hip hop music in really interesting and inconceivable ways. And I love that.
Second time you've used inconceivable today.
Yeah.
And both have been very appropriate context.
Good. It's one of my filler words, it seems.
I support that. And also I'll say that like if Kanye West would have like done something like eating the head off of a bat, no one would let him forget that. And now it's just like, oh, remember that time that like Ozzy tried to take a little bite out of a bat? Like as if it's funny.
That's what happens when you take too much acid. Haha. 80s and 90s were wild.
Yeah, the double standard of race in America. I mean, different conversation. But I love Kanye West. I also love Ozzy Osbourne, but I kind of love Kanye more. And final thing, I did dress up as Ozzy Osbourne once for Halloween.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's not much of a stretch.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you? So there's flavor and then there's uniqueness. So they're kind of like two different things. So I'm curious, like what you think the flavor rating is for this Bloody Mary mix.
I mean, it tastes like a Bloody Mary. And maybe it's like the achievement of being the first Bloody Mary of 2020 for me. And now I'm just thinking more about how much I really want a Southwest Bloody Mary. I mean, I don't know if I have like a number, but I would say that it's just like solid. Well, maybe like
you need a number.
7.
Yeah. Great. You can't not give me a number.
Okay, 7.
7. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there's something to be desired.
Yeah, like I'm gonna keep drinking this, obviously.
Yeah. But I would like a little bit more flavor. I'd like this, but like more of it.
If I put just like a splurge of some sriracha, that would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, like if I took this Bloody Mary mix and like boiled it for 20 minutes to reduce it.
Yes, and then you would have real soup in a cup.
I'm going to also go with a 7.
Okay.
I feel that. The next is mouthfeel. So it's like the thinness versus the thickness of the mix.
Yeah. You know, that's also pretty solid. I would say that that's actually also a 7. And it does, like, I want to keep drinking. It's not like burning my esophagus or anything.
It's
but
not too thick.
It's not too thick. It has like just enough lingering warmth that I'm like, I want this to still be in my body. Wink, wink. and then I'm like, oh, you know, it's just tomato juice and alcohol.
Yeah. Good things. So. If it was any thinner, I would be upset. If it was any thicker, even though I just said I would boil it down to make it more flavorful, I would not want it to be thicker.
Yeah. Then we would really be entering the true gazpacho in a cup territory. I don't know.
Today's not the day.
There's a time and place for drinking soups and gazpachos and smoothies for that matter, and most of them don't involve alcohol. I would say that you don't really want thick.
It's gonna be cold, right?
Yeah, Yeah, but I like would not want the catalyst or vehicle for my alcohol consumption to be in a thick consistency.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway.
And then the final is uniqueness.
You know, we're working with a pretty likable average Joe here. Like I said, if this was the standard of all Bloody Marys, I would be very content with that. Now, having just silently burped, I'm like, okay, good job, Sucker Punch. Probably just like 7s all around.
7, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think it's very unique personally.
Yeah.
And uniqueness isn't always a good thing, right? Something can be so unique that it doesn't get a 10.
Yeah, it's like you're just like a good guy.
I'm gonna undershoot it there with a 6.
Yeah,
okay?
No, that's totally valid.
And then we're gonna get our total here. I think I should have been able to do that math on my own. It is overall a 7.2.
Okay, that seems like this is very much a 7.2 kind of drink.
Yeah.
And shout out to Tiffany for making a delightful Sunday drink for me.
Tiffany is
for
the best.
Us. She is. And
she has producer credit on this show.
And she has great shoes. I don't have a website in case that didn't seem predictable.
Is there a reason?
No. The reason is that my college education neglected to inform anyone who wasn't a designer how to promote themselves. I'm talking to you, Webster.
Okay, so I wanted to set the stage for the work that we're going to be going through. And this is something that we like to talk to a lot of artists about because I think it's really interesting for people who have had creative experiences as children but don't label themselves as artists, or who are trying to like navigate the choice around being an artist. So I'm curious about your artistic beginnings in your childhood.
Well, well, as the oldest of 4 children, I feel like in between like 2 parents and then 3 younger siblings, I did like a lot of looking up and like looking down, and not like looking down on someone, I mean like in directions. And so then I was like, how do I record this? So I think like a lot of my childhood drawings were like either my family or like characters that I thought about. And I have always okay, so that's like maybe some sort of socialized concept of like childhood art, which is like drawing. But I've always been a reader and a collector of things. My like first pet was a monarch caterpillar, and then like a skink that I found in our garden as a kid.
What is that?
It's like
it's like a little skunk?
No. It's like if a skunk was a lizard.
Oh.
They're like pretty stealthy, but it's not a salamander or a newt, but it's not a lizard. Like it likes to like chill in like damp wood and leaves. So yeah, I just liked to watch things and then like take notes. I've always been like, especially as the digital age encroached into like college when people could type their notes, like I still like to take handwritten notes, bless you. And I have lots of notebooks, and I take I just like to record things basically.
So that was a practice that you were engaged in as a child.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I've had lots of unfinished sketchbooks, but lots of sketchbooks at the least. And like, I guess, I went through like maybe more typical phases of like really like painting ballerinas, loved drawing horses. Was
You're
like
one of those.
A little bit of a horse nerd.
Oh no.
I mean, don't get me wrong, horses are majestic creatures. Also at a young age.
You were a horse girl?
I am a horse girl. I love horses, And you know what? I'd have some horse facts for you, and there is no shame.
Okay.
And also, speaking
if
of,
we want to get some horses in the chat for horse girl Moira Smith.
yeah, hit me up. Also, like at a young age, I was a junior bird watcher with my grandmas, and so like again, the act and then art of watching, so you learn, is also like how I learn in the classroom. So like when I'm teaching kids, because I teach through the bookstore, and once upon a time I was one of the like Saturday teachers for CAM, but I teach like bookmaking and art things. I see you holding back a laugh.
We got a chat message from Delgado who says, I am a horse girl.
Yes. Oh my god. Well,
Delgado was our last guest on Art Brunch, so apparently this is Art Brunch sponsored by Horse Girl.
Yes.
Hashtag Horse Girl TM.
Horse Girls for life. I actually, very close to one of the images I sent you, like the next photo in my camera roll was like a picture of this closet in my room, and it's like a closet within a closet, and in it is just, it's like a fucking terrifying shrine to horses.
Okay, you might have to send that over so we can share it.
Let's just say the ceiling says dream ponies.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what that means.
Right.
But
it means I'm dreaming of ponies.
So did you draw as a kid?
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you drew?
The classic eyeballs. Eyeballs in every notebook. So I've shared a room with my sister. We're 19 months apart for like up until she was born, till I went to college. So we would stay up late after our parents were like, you need to turn off your lights and stop reading. Well, we would like just essentially create a alternative narrative. So like we're like talking out like a story or something like that, and then during the day I would like illustrate those stories. And so I remember we had several that we went between over the years, but like we had an extended form of Harry Potter before I knew the term fan fiction. That was when we were both like entering middle school, and we were just like, we're trying to think more about this.
What if Harry shaved his head bald?
Right.
Yeah.
And then we had another one that was like the life and times of like various field rodents. And so like the drawing version of this was like me drawing this like grass scape at the top, and then like a big hole underneath of this like dirt city full of like field mice. And another story we had was people who had like weird names that were like first and last names. So like my character was someone I named Robin Robinson, and hers was like Jokey Jenkins or something. So we had like just fucking weird, like, again, it was one thing to like turn off the lights and stop reading a book, but then it was like, oh, we're still gonna lose sleep, and then the next day I'm gonna like draw these silly characters and be like, hey, is this what we were talking about last night? She's like, no. But it was.
Was Robbie Robinson a bird?
Robin Robinson was
Robin. Robbie Robinson is their cousin.
Yeah. All I can really tell you about Robin Robinson was that at the time I had read the Bethany Hamilton autobiography probably 12 times. And so Robin Robinson had one arm and lived in Canada. And that's pretty much it. And she lived in like the same cul-de-sac as Jokey Jenkins.
Oh, cool. Neighbors.
Just
happy neighbors.
Just, just that.
Did you understand that practice when you were a child as being an artistic practice? Did you think of yourself as an artist as a child?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was also because like people around me within my family or school were like, oh, you're like the class artist or the family artist. And like, I don't know, especially as I progressed towards like middle school and high school, it was like, oh, like you're just doubling down on this like black sheep of the family or the like like your friend group is like you're the one who's like listening to Paramore and like drawing horses, and everyone else is just like trying to have a crush on someone they've known since they were 4.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that sounds not so fun. And so I just like, yeah, doodled a lot, read a lot, and liked to absorb information. But I wasn't like a good classroom learner, so like my mind was like separate and in like Moira land of like drawing. And I didn't like, I sometimes feel like people like diminish what doodling is. And even like in high school I did a lot of scientific illustrations and like watercolors, and I knew that I was like good at that. But then like in college people were like, we don't do scientific illustration here, and like watercolor is for like losers. And I'm like, what? But in basically once in 4th grade I knew 2 things. One, that I was the only person in my class who had read scary stories to tell in the dark like every time we had indoor recess. And then second, the drawings of horses that I put into the trash, people would steal and write their names on. So I'm like, this is an interesting phenomenon to observe, is that people are stealing my art.
I was actually, as a young man, one of those kids who actually stole other people's art.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Well,
I shared a story with Tiffany on a couple art brunches ago, and there was this weird ritual that took place in my kindergarten class where all of the children would draw a particular subject, and for whatever reason, I didn't have much of a brain at that point, and
at age 5,
and there are so many memories that have just I don't know the reason why it was this way, but we would just leave the paintings wherever they were in the classroom, and then we would go do something else, and then we would leave for the day. The teacher would then collect the drawings, and we didn't put our names on them or anything. I don't even know if we knew how to write our names at 5. Is that something you know how to do at 5?
I don't know if so I think I probably did, but I also recall several things about being 5. A series of recurring dreams. The fact that I would draw human bodies in their full bodily form in crayon and then try to draw clothes over that, and it's hard to layer crayon. And it's even harder to put like colored pencil over crayon. And then thirdly, my name was not easy for anyone to pronounce despite it being 2 syllables, but then like to be 4 or 5 and like trying to learn how to spell my own name, I'm like, do I even know how to pronounce or spell my name?
You cannot sound your name out.
Mariah?
Moria. Yeah.
It's Moira.
So then what would take place is this strange ritual where the teacher, the kindergarten teacher, would sit in the middle of the room, and we would all be in a semicircle around them with our legs crossed, and
crisscross applesauce.
Exactly. And the teacher would pick from a pile of drawings and hold it up and ask whose drawing it was.
Oh shit.
So then there's this like weird exhibition anxiety where all of the children are present while the teacher is raising this object up and saying, who did this?
So this is also priming you to be like an auctioneer or an art collector, is because you're like, oh, that's
I raised my little card.
Yeah. She's like, going once, going twice, and you're like, I'll take it.
And that's actually how it would go. So then some of my fellow classmates would then not handle that exhibition public speaking drama well, and they wouldn't say that the work that was up was their work because maybe it was bad, or maybe they didn't think it was good. They didn't want to raise their hand and say, I did that. So then what I started to get into as a child was waiting for the pauses, and if it was something that I liked, I would just raise my hand and say, I did that.
I think you need to really explore waiting for the pauses to like pounce and like claim it.
Yeah.
This is a trait of many birds, I will say. And yeah, there's something sneaky there that I feel like you still have.
And there
like this painting being a prime example, actually.
The funny part of that is I don't know who I thought I was fooling, because the person who painted that painting was literally sitting there.
And they probably were like,
But maybe
because then they couldn't claim it after you claimed it.
Yeah.
And like what 5-year-old's actually trying to challenge another 5-year-old on like whose art is whose?
Apparently I'm either insecure or a sneaky boy.
I think the latter.
Yeah, a little bit of both. They might be a codependent system.
Yeah.
But
I think
yeah,
we all have both.
So then at the end of this thing, I would have this collection of paintings that obviously I didn't make all of those and that were mine, but they let me keep because nobody challenged me. So
That's
hopefully the sensation that you had as a child of feeling that your work was really good because people were taking it out of the trash was something I was able to do for fellow kindergartners by blatantly stealing their artwork on a public stage.
So also let me say that like maybe I didn't personally think that it was good, hence why I was recycling it all. But I wasn't crumbling it. So it was easy to like, I was pretty much like putting it on the curb and being like, I'm just going to look this way. And if somebody picks it up, go for it. But then the fact that they put their names on it, I was like, Claire, just because we both ride horses together does not mean that you can actually draw a horse.
Yeah.
Last time I checked. And
according
to me and this horse, you can't draw. I also once in 3rd grade, I still have this note. Someone wrote me a note that said, Moira, you are a really good drawer with an L.
Ooh, yeah.
And I said, oh yeah. Yeah, I am. But no,
I think that speaks to something really interesting that we find with a lot of artists that I talk to is the system of actually becoming an artist in your life has a lot to do with the reinforcements that took place when you were a child.
Well, also with that, I will quickly add that like despite having a rather scientific practice, I was not an like I'm not a good test taker. Like I in high school like took my science tests just one-on-one with my teacher, me telling her things. And math is probably my least favorite subject, but I do like kind of logical like this or that answers. But like especially in high school and as college approached, I was like, okay, fuck. The only thing I have going through me for me is like maybe some semblance of like skill, and like I had like a 2.8 GPA, but I did get like the art achievement medal, and I took all of the art classes. And then like when I registered for college, they're like, you never have to take a math class again. And I was like, tight, because I won't be able to. But like in my job, my work study job, that is now my career of art handling. Like I use math all the fucking time. Yeah. And that's the math that I can do.
The real math,
the real world math. But like, yeah, definitely there became a point where I was like, shit, I guess this is kind of what I mostly have going for me. I did also somehow like achieve like a minor or certificate in human rights and sociology. But like I just like to talk and learn, and any sort of left mind logic oriented is not like I had to like formulate that for myself. And my final quip will be that my junior year chemistry class, which was my last formal history class or science class, because I took 4 years of history rather than science, I failed my exam, but I got a C because I wrote several very good chemistry jokes on my test. And then my teacher was like, please never take science again.
Good. And did you?
No. Good. But I did run into my high school biology teacher last year when I was hiking, and I was like so excited to see her. And she was excited to see me, and it made me feel great. And I told her I was making these science books, and she was so proud. And I was just like, I can retire now. I can retire from my unpaid life.
Well, so that it's interesting because when I was growing up, and this gets us into the work that you're making now, and I think that you did a really good job of explaining kind of that change from being like a citizen researcher of your own world as a child, and then taking those things and translating them into like a visual space, and constantly kind of like reiterating that you were helped along by people saying you're the creative one. You spent more time doodling in math class than anyone actually spent on their homework. And, you just dedicate this time over time, and you build up this system. But an important part of that system is the people around you also validating those things that are taking place. And whether or not you had other options at the end of high school, with a clear option was that, I've been consistently validated in this practice, and it suits kind of the way that I want to move forward. But what I think is special about your practice that I didn't have as a child was this like researching tint to it, and trying to like, as a young person or as somebody growing up, understanding art as research, or understanding the value of research in an artistic practice, I think is very like unique to you.
Thank you. Okay, that wasn't necessarily a question, but I feel like an answer that I have, or maybe a response, would be having one art teacher from kindergarten to 8th grade, and then one art teacher from all of high school, and like the schools themselves not having a particularly funded art like resource option. And even like as a freshman in high school, they were like, actually you have to take either like beginning band or choir, because like we're a fucking Catholic school and we don't care about art. And so then in like 3 years I took all of the art class options. But like my aunt is an artist, and my mom has often just done very creative things, and so there's like a lot of like, especially my aunt, there's like a lot of creativity. And actually also my grandparents, like they built their own house, and like my grandma was a seamstress, and so there's these like other creative practices, even also with like baking. But really for the most part, I would say 9 out of 10 people in my family tree are science-minded people, like whether or not they're civil engineers or geologists, or my sister just completed like a degree in ecology and biodiversity, but like was like, yeah, secretly like my takeaway from like studying in Tanzania was like how to make a cake over a campfire. And I'm like, sweet dude, like just go fucking make those cakes. She's very talented. So but anyway, like there is this more kind of like, we know these like how to read these graphs and stuff. And I remember taking the ACT 5 times and hating every single minute of it, and being like, I don't know how to comprehend these graphs or like this data that's in this very kind of disgustingly sterile way. But then talking about it or like just applying it in person made a lot of sense to me. And so somewhere between like not having the like critical assessment of like, oh, you have an A in science, like I had a C in science or something. But you know, I think that with being a junior bird watcher, growing up camping and hiking, like that was very much a part of my childhood. And then having these like other kind of scientists, researchers around me gave me a lot of the language that like now, even living in the city, like I'll take my long walks, which, you know, you might as well call them a hike at a certain point. But like
you can hike in the city.
All of the flat plains. But like, you know, I really like identification, because I think that like naming things gives it a little bit more autonomy. And so yeah, to like name things and identify and be like, oh, I know this tree and this plant and this bird and this flower. Like I will say, some other people who may or may not have a science degree in my family cannot do this. And I'm like, oh, wow. They got all of the musical and scientific talents, and they're all like extremely talented and incredible in their endless ways. But I'm like, well, you know what I can do? Tell you about the 5th gate of Icelandic ponies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that that's really cool, and we've had conversations about the role of the is citizen scientist a term that people use?
Yeah, it's like super a term. And even in the last year, like especially like NASA or the Audubon Society, these like national kind of scientific collectors of data really have pushed for citizen scientist contributions. There's like chat rooms and databases where, like, if you're studying, like right now it's monarch migration season. And so there's a whole variety of like butterfly conservatories that are like, hey, if you've been tracking this, or you see like the various types of milkweed that are being consumed right now, like let us know how many monarchs you're seeing. And monarchs are something that, like birds and even horses, I have closely watched for a very long time. And NASA too has like a lot of chat rooms where you can like talk about stars you're seeing and like other shit that you're just like looking at. Like if you're looking at it, you're a scientist. Cool. And like I keep binoculars in my kitchen because I just spy on all of my neighbors.
Okay, let's move over to the work.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so
Things
we're going to switch over to our display here. We can both see it, and you all can also see it, because we're all seeing things together.
My favorite.
Okay.
Is seeing things together.
Do you want to start with the video stuff, or?
Yeah, sure, I guess.
Okay, let's start here.
I only brought my iPad so I could like show you in person how many videos I have in my latest video, like when I'm like collecting all of my, because of course, like similar to like creating stacks of piles and papers in my room, I also create like albums within albums just so I can like see all of the videos or content in like one single place in my phone. And probably one of the things that I like most about iPhoto or whatever on my phone is when they like create memories for you. And they're like, oh, look at this hilarious little montage of like whatever you've been doing, and I'm like, okay.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about what's going on in this video here?
Okay, well, in this video, it's nothing like exceptionally spectacular. I feel like what I've been maybe observing at a closer range in the last several months is these like very minute and like micro phenomenons of like, I don't know, like I don't want to like call it like glitter or like reflection. I don't know how to like call any, well, contrary to like really liking to name and identify things, like I don't know what to refer to this as, but I have a lot of collections of like light reflecting off of water, and I in real life have a collection of like scientific prisms and quite a lot of photographs and drawings of like water droplets, which I think are also kind of prism like. But I don't know, I like the reflection and like that it's temporary and it looks like space. I really like how like biologically and celestially the earth like mirrors itself, because I don't know how much time you spend like looking at fucking like NASA Hubble images.
Many a time.
Great epic, because like it's just kind of amazing that like galaxies and lightning storms and like brain neurons and tree roots all look very similar. And I think that type of like mirroring or copying even is so cool, that it's like unexplained and yet they look so damn similar, and it's like, what is that? What is that like duality of like things looking like other things but not being that thing? That's what I love to talk about the most, is like things that look like things but are not things, or not the same thing. Everything is a thing.
It's like these references, and like in an art historical sense, I think about like a lot of I had an instructor who said something to me where he was just proposing the question, could you talk about art in the opposite direction? So could you say that something that I'll just throw out two big names, but could you say that something that Picasso did was really like was referencing Kuhn's work? So like, could you say that like somebody in the past did something that was like really relevant to an artist right now. So could I go back through art history and say, like, oh, that was like a really Rick Bowling moment in that Rothko?
Yeah.
And how can we like shift this
That's so
like
funny
perception?
because I would put Rick Bowling and Mark Rothko for sure in the same train car, because like Rothko actually, like, most of his color fields were inspired by like looking out of the window of moving trains like through the Netherlands and being like, damn, like look at that swift ass field of delphinium just passing by, that like it's merely a blur of like blue and green and like stuff. And then like his memory was like this blur.
Well, I'll just wither and die now because you said that.
Well,
this is the end of my life. This is swift death.
Because I've just compared you to Rothko and said, congrats, Rick. You and Rothko can ride on a train into oblivion, and you no longer need to do anything else because of this single comparison.
Yeah, that's my like base level of operation.
Tight.
Is just inertia.
Congratulations.
And just equilibrium between the void and any type of movement.
Excellent. And it's really funny that you just randomly chose Picasso and Jeff Koons, because Picasso actually had a wiener dog.
Really?
A pet wiener dog. He did some like really kind of whimsical drawings of wiener dogs, and his wiener dog's name was Lump.
Oh. He is so far ahead of the fucking curve.
So Lump, the wiener dog, for sure inspired Jeff Koons being like, I'm gonna make a balloon dog. And then everyone's going to buy Balloon Dog, and no one's going to know about Picasso drawing these like such charming drawings of Lump. And
was that actually like a reference that Koons talked about? Or is
no.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So this is the other thing. This is the thing with my practice, is that I feel like I'm looking at two or more things and comparing them and putting them together in the same book or discussion, and I'm like, these are so like clearly similar, just even on a very surface level visual sense, like these things look like those things, but like they're like, once I made this book that was about like gatherings, and it was all about like the ways in which birds gather but also humans gather, and like for like collective like strength and power. And it's like you would not find a book that's about like human group movement and bird flocking patterns, and both of these are extremely real phenomena, and there's writing on both, and there's like video and photo and written evidence, and yet like they're not in the same space. And then so like I'm over here being like and then I'm gonna like put them into the same vehicle, which is the book form, and be like, oh, this is real and that's real, and they're still real together, but now you're kind of like, why are these together? And then I'm like, why are they not together?
So meaning through like proximity or through like juxtaposition, it would be like the way that nerds talk about it. More I'm trying to be like, everyone should be holding hands, because this is a lot more similar to that than you think. And like I think that to like categorizing things is cool, but like it also kind of puts things into boxes, and sometimes that creates too much separation between things that are much more alike than what social constructs might make them seem like, if that makes sense. So something that I think about in your work, and I don't know if you've ever told me this in these simple terms, or if this is something that you're actively working on, or I don't know. We had a lot of time together where nothing was taking place in a museum.
Hell yeah.
And time to just like talk about, I feel like we never like had a sit down where we just gave each other this like elevator speech of what we do, which is what I really appreciate about our relationship, is I just like give you fragments. And then something you do really well is like you take those fragments and you're able to see them for like the way that I'm fragmenting reality. And I felt so taken care of because you've sent me back like these awesome fragments that you find in your travels.
And I'm
like, how does this person understand this like really fragmented thought that I'm having. Like I have this whole sensation of, in the graffiti work that I do, of thinking about there's a team of graffiti artists who are moving about the St. Louis area, and they're making abstract graffiti. And they're not using names, they're not using terms, but there's this whole subset of graffiti artists in St. Louis who are going to different spaces and just doing subtle interventions with paint that once you start to look and start to understand, you can see that like potentially there's this amazing network of abstract graffiti artists that are moving around St. Louis. Or you can think these are happenstance things that take place that are buffs, or somebody doesn't know how to use a spray can, or it's like some sort of like obsolescence, or somebody is making poor choices and it's turning out to be this like contemporary expression of graffiti art. And you've been able to like take that and understand it and help me search out these things. But what I want to get to is I think about your work as this like second Earth project.
That's so, a quick pause. Similar to earlier when I could only focus on garlic pickles, like sometimes I'll like be looking at this body of text and like only see like a combination of two words or like a single word. And so from what you just said, what I'm taking away, and I think this actually very much defines your work, is subtle interventions, and then in parentheses with paint, but like maybe not. And then also just like the singular word happenstance, because I think that like our kind of cyberspace collaboration, like if you went through the detail, like you know how like the iPhone like details conversations and puts like all the photos that you send together.
Yeah.
If you looked at that exchange between just the two of us, I think that you would see your work and my work and then our work together of this like dialogue of like subtle interventions, because like we're just looking for it and it's happening anyway, but maybe only like being seen or discussed in this like text conversation.
Yeah.
And also finally with that, like what I like a lot too is with that especially with like graffiti artists, it's like I think that what I send you a lot of is like the back of signs or like the removal of information. And so it'll be like this ghost image of text, or like whatever sort of like chemical aftermath of like a poster being taped in a place and then it's no longer there, or like paint being removed but like not very well. And so then there's this like
poorly.
Like on my end I'm like, ooh, this is evidence that something else was here, and then on your end it's like, oh, what is this like subtle layering of like context of like these melted crayons on the ground or whatever.
Or I think about who these people are.
Yeah.
So I like to have these like psychotic mind spaces where there are actually like secret societies and groups of people trying to bring contemporary abstract interventionist art into the public space, and these are the remnants, and I'm trying to I want to like slowly work myself into this group that's doing this type of work.
I think that I did this for my birthday this year. I took my roommate and her little sister on an alley tour where I pretty much just was like, this is my favorite alley, and this is my favorite brick, and this is my favorite vine, and here's what they're called, and blah, blah, blah. But you and I could like definitely take a stroll and do some sort of like archaeological investigation on like what we're finding, and also like contemplating who did that, because like it inevitably is like some old dude who's like, oh, this old whippersnapper is just painting on the sidewalk, so I'm gonna paint over it. And then I'm like, what is this, a collaboration between two fools?
And then who is this man?
Yeah.
And like what kind of knickknacks does he have in his basement?
Yes. And also like the framework of like the side of a dumpster or like a sidewalk square or something. I'm like, this is like the formal frame that I see like your work in. And then I'm like, I guess I'll just take a picture and send it to Rick. Anyway.
So with your work, what I was getting to there is I don't know, do you understand your work as this like exploration of like a secondary Earth, or like some sort of, there's like this thin veil of reality where we have like normal Earth, or like Earth proper, and then we have like Earth unproper?
See, this is incredible, and it makes me feel very seen that you even have spliced together these words, because I don't think that I've like told you about the kind of like year and a half worth of research I've been doing for this formulated alternative secondary Earth space that I have named Ultima Terra. Ultima meaning like the final, and Terra meaning Earth. And so somewhere between coming up with the name Ultima Terra, which is based on a real exoplanet called Ultima Thule, and then a Mona Hatoum exhibition called Terra Infirma. And so like kind of like just taking cool words, because I will get to it. I have a list of words. But like yes, like this kind of the like symbol of Ultima Terra is these two diagonal overlapping circles that it's like this looks like that and that looks like this, and they're very much the same, but you just have to like very, very slightly shift the way that you're thinking about it. So it's like I'm getting a lot of the same information in like a children's like oh my god, the Wizard of Oz series. What the hell is that? But yet so much of that information is also being kind of highlighted in like scientific text, is like this kind of inquisitive like I don't know,
but it's also like codifying. So like the thing is I feel like you're talking about a Venn diagram.
Yes, that's exactly the symbol of Ultima Terra, is a Venn diagram on an axis.
But what you're trying to determine is like the positions of those circles.
Yes.
So like, are the circles here or are they here?
Right.
And each subtle shift in dimensionality and in degree of the way that those circles interact kind of like create this whole other version of reality because of what you exclude from both sides.
And even like drawing that alone, like
Ikono loves Mona Hatoum. We all.
So do I. That just reminded me that I need to add Mona to my list of 4-letter words that I love. But yeah, no, even every time I like draw like Ultima Terra circles, like the slight degree or even the shape of the circle or how much they do or don't overlap, like definitely varies. And of course some like scientists out there are like, oh, we have infinite Earths and infinite realities. And I really like sci-fi short stories. And one of my favorite ones since like 8th grade was this short story by Ray Bradbury called All Summer in a Day. And I could have like sent you a recording of me reading that, but essentially it's like about this kid who lives on Venus, and Venus is plagued by rain endlessly for 7 years except for like 2 hours on one day. But on that one day, and she's like the only kid who has memory from Earth, everyone else has been born in this like rain plagued Venus. Her class is like bullying her, and they lock her in a closet, and they all go out and enjoy the 2 hours of sun that they have, and then they come in and they're like, oh shit, like the rain's already back. And then like suddenly one of them is like, fuck, we totally locked Margot in the closet and she like didn't get to witness it. Now she's, it's a short story, it's really good, but
we'll commission you to read it on the travel agency.
Yeah, I do love a good story time. But yeah, no, I like sci-fi alternative worldscapes where it's like this like the conception of those spaces, like for authors or artists, is like clearly rooted in reality. Like we have like George Orwell or Octavia Butler are not just like coming up with these ideas out, like they are like extremely original and unique ideas, but like they're rooted in reality. Like how is it that 1984 is so freakishly similar to now? How is it that Earthseed, which takes place in like 2027, is even more freakishly relevant to now? And that's Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler.
On my list.
Yes,
it will be happening soon.
Oh my god, it's so good. We're gonna have to have a book review discussion. I just love talking about books, and it's not even because that's like what I do for my job. I just like to talk about books.
I've been into fantasy recently. I just went through both Peter Rothfuss's first 2 books in the Kingkiller Chronicle, Name of the Wind and A Wise Man's Fear. Wise Man's Fear is like 1,000 pages of him just like trying to eke out his philosophy on the world, and like the beauty and the connection between love and music, and also like kind of being a spy, kind of being like a sneaky boy.
Yay!
You know, and there's just like all the things that I love. And to take what you said and to bring it into my world, the opportunity for science fiction and fantasy, which are two separate genres that have, you know, created more or less distance between themselves over time, is that they're able to just slightly change the rules of engagement of base reality, which we can understand base reality to just be a set of cultural symbols. And if you can adjust a few of those symbols, then you can cast light more clearly on a human experience.
Yes. And I think that goes to what I like to think about, which is like changing art vocabulary to science vocabulary, or even like, you know, the video that we watched earlier is like somewhere between me and the surface of the water is this kind of glimmering reflection, and somewhere between me and the sidewalk and my shadow on the sidewalk is like a lot of ether space. And like what's happening between here and there, that like the shape of me is being shown back to me. And like, yeah, that's why I like overlapping things, because I'm like, what's happening in the space between the overlapping. That's cool. This is like a terrible quality screenshot of a Google Doc, but I actually love the pixelation that just happened right there.
But yeah, so this is kind of like exhibiting that kind of idea that you were talking about here.
Yes. And actually this also is, I was laying in the grass and then I took a picture of it. And then like months later, I was looking at the picture from my phone on my iPad. And then I took a picture on my phone again of the iPad picture, which was a phone picture. And now we're looking at it on this screen. So I'm just like, how many actual images are we looking at right here?
And it's being streamed to
like
20, like tens and tens, like
layers and layers and layers of cyberspace.
Of people who are watching this right now. So take a screenshot if you're seeing this right now and send it to Moira in a DM on Instagram.
Please do that.
Yeah.
Please do that. I usually, when people send me pictures, what I send back to them is a screenshot of something they just sent me. My friend just sent me this very charming and beautiful picture of her butt. And I sent back a picture of a shadow of a plant on her butt. And I was like, look at this landscape. And she was like, what? And I was like, what? You did it, not me.
Yeah. And so this image compared to like this next image that we have of yours, maybe. These are almost like opposites to me. Like they interact in the same space. Like this is, I don't know, is this actually like a before and after, or are these like two separate instances?
This is like also was some sort of like unintentional thing where I was like, I'm gonna take a walk. And then on this walk, it was like early April, I collected all of these violets. And then I went into this park that was like publicly closed, but in my neighborhood, and like I've been going there my whole life, St. Vincent Park, and I know that there's a hole in the fence. So I went into this park and I'm the only one in there. And it became this sort of like solo mission, like exploratory performance where I'm like, I'm going through this park that has been unkempt for the season, and I'm recording like the long ass grass that's flowing around. Then I'm just laying in the grass because I know that I'm going to be truly undisturbed, except for the fact that like this is a park that's 5 minutes from the airport, and so there's planes flying over. And so yeah, the grass was so long because it had yet to be mown for the season. And then there was this kind of like I was like collecting remnants, which would be the violets. And then afterwards, when I was going to leave, then there was this like remnant that I was there, that I knew that like in a few hours the grass would like reform itself, and it would be like there was no evidence of me being there. And I'm like physically taking away the violets from this space. And like only for a quick bit is there's this like dent from me being there. But like the grass is not taking that memory of me. I'm taking the memory of the grass. Anyway.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah.
So
that's about time for our next break.
oh great.
And yeah, me too. Yeah, it's like an hour is like directly proportionate to like
Pee
a
breaks.
glass of water when you're well hydrated.
I drink more water than anyone I know. I think that my water bottle is glued to my hand, and I'm very much proud of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, also funny that like the first hour was just like us kind of like rambling, and now I'm just like, oh, it's been an hour? Like what? I feel like we just sat back down again.
All right. So next, I think we should just jump into our 10 questions.
Yes.
We got some hearts from Nikono in the chat.
Oh, great.
Okay, so these are 10 questions.
Oh, I'm messaging them right now. Oh, this is funny. Great.
T Green Girl's dropping some mermaid emojis.
Yeah, Tiffany.
Whatever Grandpa says, OMG, love the mom voicemail.
Aw.
So sweet.
Aw.
People love you.
Oh, thank you. I love you all. I mean, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do.
You decided.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so switching over, we're going to slowly be wrapping up now. We're going to go to about 1. We have 10 questions here. We can talk about it. What is one simple thing you're trying to get good at right now?
Well, what am I trying to get good at? Answering government questions on unemployment for my job search. Am I searching for jobs? No. Am I searching for things? Yes. Do I need to figure out a better way to make it seem like I'm twiddling my thumbs waiting for employment at any given rate? I guess. But actually, I just am really bad at doing like formulated government answers for things. And so I'm just trying to be like, is this a job? Does it sound like a job? Maybe. Does it look like a job? No.
Yeah.
Anyway.
in the results section of my weekly request for payment, I take the route
yeah, that's the best part.
Where they say results and I say none yet.
See, my favorite question actually for unemployment is at the login when it says like, are you a robot? And my answer is always
click. You click the check mark.
I say, yes, I am a robot. Aren't we all?
As if just simply clicking a screen is enough.
Right. As if robots can't click.
Yeah. You ever think of that? Gregory Stevens 420 is feeling a personal connection right now.
Oh, hi.
Okay, the next question. This harkens back to Nikono says, I enjoyed the quote lying on this form ... pop-up you always get. You know?
If you're lying.
If you're lying, you're gonna go straight to hell.
Well, I'll see you there.
Yeah. Hell of a party.
Unrelated to unemployment, but another list that I've been I've had going for like years now is a list of cool quotes, and I think I can call up very fast a quote from one of my favorite humans in this universe. Her name is Mira, and yes, we're 10 years apart, and yes, maybe she's younger than me, but she is one of the smartest and coolest people I know. And once upon a time, she said, I only believe in Satan so that when I see all of the Catholics in hell, I can say, what's up, suckers? And the key to this quote is the finger guns. Because we were also talking about how like it's not uncool to like do this. Anyway, yes, hell is a real place. Which is something her little brother told me. Said, hell's not a cuss word, it's a place. And I said, right you are, man.
Same as damn.
Yep.
It's not a cuss word, it's a place.
Hoover Dam.
Yeah.
Pretty stupid.
Fucking new.
Anyway, only beavers should make dams.
Hydroelectricity is kind of like a lit power source, though.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Harkening back to our Kanye West conversation earlier, a quote from one of my favorite genre-bending songs featuring Lil Pump is, when's the first time somebody asked you if you wanted sparkling or still?
Oh, is this the question?
That's the question.
Ooh. I think it was when I was studying abroad in Leiden, and they just like looked at me as if I was this like fucking plebeian American who's like, oh, you want water? You don't want beer at 8:30 in the morning? I mean, 8:30, 100, or whatever the
800,
fuck, whatever concept, like however they measure time.
Sorry, I didn't know I was in the military.
Yeah, I'm not. I think that yes, somewhere in Europe, someone was like, "Do you want this?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just want fucking H2O. I don't care if it has bubbles or not. I guess if my body is made of 70% of it, I want it." Anyway,
very good.
Yeah.
What is your favorite type of gum?
None. I don't know.
You
the
don't
kind
chew
of
gum?
No.
You seem really, really serious about this.
Okay, here's the dealio. I don't chew gum. Unless I'm like tired of snacking in a car on a long road trip, I might be chewing gum simply because then I won't be eating my like 47th handful of trail mix.
Okay.
I like water.
Okay.
I maybe I'll nibble on a mint leaf. I don't know.
Good.
I don't know what to tell you here.
Well, the travel agency and Art Brunch podcast is sponsored by 5 Gum.
Hey, that's good gum.
Stimulate your senses.
Yes. Okay. Also, I will say that when it does come to gum, I only like spearmint. And once upon a time in youth, I might have liked the bubble gum that becomes in a Tootsie Pop, but I would like crunch the Tootsie Pop, so it'd be like
it's both
crunchy gum.
Yeah, it's both,
which
at the
is
same
like
time.
Not gum anymore.
Yeah.
If
anybody knows where to how to connect with 5 Gum to get a real sponsorship,
oh my god, that'd be so tight.
let me know.
Yes, I would pay to watch a commercial of 5 Gum sponsoring you. Because that would be so much better than like whatever. Like their commercials are actually pretty funny.
They're really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I would go all out if I had a budget.
And let me tell you, stimulate your senses is a damn good tagline for gum.
Yeah.
For gum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a lot of work to do. They broke into the gum market.
Yes,
if you think
because
about
what
that.
the hell is the gum market?
Yeah.
Once my grandma told me that she and some other kids chewed tar, like asphalt, soft asphalt, as children.
Okay.
And I was like,
T Green Girl in the chat liked your quote, "I nibble on a piece of mint."
I'm a rabbit.
It's like dip, but for the plants among us.
Fuck you. Yeah.
Next question.
Okay.
Have you ever successfully completed a game of Monopoly in your life?
That's hilarious. I've played Monopoly all of one time, and it took me 2 days, and I hated it. And it was also a special edition. Do you remember that like campaign called The Dog? And it was all of these like bobblehead looking images of dogs where like their bodies were like small and normal, and then they like amplified their head. Look up
like a bobblehead.
Look up The Dog.
I don't think that's going to produce the results that you want to be produced. If I just Google The Dog, I have a strong inkling that other things are going to be brought up.
Okay, it was similar to the Got Milk campaign, but for dogs. And anyway, so they had a special edition of Monopoly that was like dog oriented, and we had that as a family. And
Dog Monopoly?
Okay, so also in addition to not being like necessarily musical or scientifically talented, I also like get full body sweats when it comes to any sort of like group competition. Like in high school.
Is this the dog that you're talking about?
Yes, it is.
Got dog?
Yes.
The dog art list.
Right.
What is that? Art list collection?
Yes. Yes, this is exactly the game that took me 2 hours to play in a family of 6. And actually that does relate slightly to one of the drawings that I sent you, because I don't like group competition. I feel like if I was on a team that was playing for some sort of like winnings, I would only convince myself that I personally would be the reason why we would lose. And so in competition formats, I like to compete against myself. So like in high school,
like golf.
No. So in high school, like I was like a sprinter in track or swimming, so I could only like race against myself in a clock.
Yeah.
Anyway, but and also like my other life struggle with directional comprehension. I'm not good at following direction or comprehending like game rules.
You're talking about this image?
So I'm talking about this image, and this is from a game of Pictionary earlier this month. So in the last year, my family, I'm the oldest of 4. We have a family of 6, and so we've played, I guess, like 5 or 6 rounds of Pictionary in the last year. And every time we switch partners, and people are like, oh, it's because that you went to art school, that like people, being my own brain, are like, you went to art school, which is why you're good at Pictionary.
That's why this flag is so fucking lit.
Yeah, okay. So this is my drawing of government. Hence all of the citizens who are frowning at the actual
in the wall here.
Yeah, the wall that might really be a wall of grass, and the very degrading White House looking down on these 3 citizens. Anyway, the key to me winning Pictionary, and by me I mean me and my partner, so the key to we and us winning, I'm talking to you, Bernie Sanders, is positive reinforcement. And not even reinforcement. I really think that the key to me and my collaborator winning is because because we say like good job, or like nice try, or thank you, or like something in between, and other and so that's why, like, in pairing with like other members of my family, it doesn't matter who I'm paired with. What matters is that I'm like, you tried, and we did this, even if we didn't advance 6 spaces. Hey, like, you know, we're still doing it.
It's like making waffles, you know, like the first one oftentimes is bad,
but it still tastes like a waffle.
It still tastes like a waffle, and it's all uphill from there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Okay.
If you weren't in your current profession, what would you be doing? Like, without any like limitations, if you could be in any profession other than the one that you're in.
I would want to be a professional Toastmaster, and not like someone who gives toast, because I could care less about that. I would want to only come up with a lifetime of toast pairings. So I'm talking about like all the endless types of bread.
Okay.
Anything that you can put on top of bread. Again, I just make piles. My practice is essentially making stacks and moving them around town.
So you would be the person making those charts of like bread toasting charts?
Yes.
Yeah. Of 1 through 10 and then 10 through 100?
Yes. And so for like my birthday this year, like I just was like, okay, my like favorite people's like come to my house, and I'm going to make all of you bread. And I had like 3 or 4 different types of bread. And I was like, I don't like my own birthday like everybody else's birthdays, but I love toast. And so, and maybe it's because I love butter, I love bread, I love warmth, and I love piling things. Yeah. And so all of that equals toast.
We'll write that equation out for those that are not following.
And then I also like taking care of other people. So that's why I'm like, let me make you toast. Let me like make an egg the way you want, and put these things in a delightful pile for you on the platform of toast. Yeah. Anyway.
Whatever Grandpa says, bruh, the government,
Yikes, indeed.
Yeah.
If the government gave us all of the stimulus checks for toast, we'd be fucking set.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, or Disney fan primarily?
Okay, so I did not have cable growing up, but I am a fucking fiend for Cartoon Network. And once upon a time, I said, you know what? I'm going to purchase Hulu for myself because I just want to watch Cartoon Network all the time. And I love cartoons. I am a big SpongeBob fan. My favorite show for real, though, is Steven Universe. And also probably the show that's like most like how my brain works would be The Amazing World of Gumball.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that, but that show is sick.
I was into it.
Yeah, I mean, I am.
Yeah. Everybody in the chat, let us know if you were a Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, or a Disney fan.
Yeah, also like Mojo Jojo from Powerpuff Girls was one of my names. And like Dexter's Laboratory. I'm like, I want to be as like hilariously evil, non-evil as Dexter.
Yeah.
Like, what is this little small dude who's a kid who's also like an evil scientist?
Yeah. But the real evil one was that dude with the bowl cut.
Oh my god, yeah, Bling Bling Boy.
Yeah, whatever.
And honestly, that is a metaphor for life because like here we have real scientists being like, this is facts, and then we have like fucking billionaires and corporations being like, but we have money.
Yeah. But we can pay for alternative facts.
Right.
Do you tie your right or your left shoe first?
I don't know, but I'm left-handed, and this world is made for right-handed people, so I'm actually inherently ambidextrous because of like all of the mechanical and technological preferences towards the right side. I actually don't use left-handed scissors. Everything I do essentially is with my right hand, like knife skills and like machinery and computers and that jazz. But like writing is like the only thing that I do exclusively with my left hand.
Okay.
Painting, eating, tools.
Yeah.
I go in between.
Okay.
And throwing things, I'm bad at both hands. So I try not to throw
You're no-handed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and the second part of that question is, do you bunny ear or do you loop, swoop, and pull? Very important.
I think the latter.
Yeah. It's the way to do it.
Yeah, I love bunnies, but I once witnessed an adult male tie their shoes with bunny ears and was like, that's not cool.
Yeah.
You're not getting me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Then moving on from there, when you're driving, are you more likely to be the giver or the recipient of the finger or the bird?
Oh, that's funny. I don't know. I always feel okay, so like long story short, I try to like not exhaust my energy feeling very, very temporary rage. I have it in my mind that like fuck you for being a bad driver, St. Louis as a whole. And then I'm like, oh, okay, well, goodbye thought. Like you're not gonna like waste my energy today. So but yet like I also will like spend the rest of the drive being like, why did that person honk at me? Like I'm like the one girl in Mean Girls who's like, I just want everybody to get along and fucking puppies and rainbows and ponies.
So what you're saying is you're receiving the bird.
No. What I'm saying is that I'm a junior bird watcher. And
you're having many instances of watching birds. I have both of
my hands on the wheel because I'm an anxious, like I just don't want to be in a car. So I'm too like focused. I'm a focused driver, don't get me wrong, but like I just generally want to like arrive in a location in one piece and could be like I guess it doesn't totally matter what happens between here and there, but like I try not to take it too personally.
Okay, bird watcher, got it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on quinoa?
You know, it's a grain.
It's an ancient grain.
It is an ancient grain. You have to wash it, sorry. It's not my favorite grain. My favorite grain is farro.
Okay.
Um,
Fair play.
yeah, and I think my favorite thing about quinoa is watching people read it, and then it's like when I know that my name is on like a list and someone's gonna have to say my name soon, or like at a cafe if someone's gonna have to like very soon announce my name for my order being ready. I know that they're about to say it based on the pause, the hesitation, that they're like, oh fuck, I don't know how to pronounce this. And it's like quinoa. It's like you have endless ways to pronounce my name, but apparently also quinoa. So I guess my name is quinoa.
Like, what is the most memorable response you've gotten to your work?
Well, I have a collection of like text screenshots on my phone of conversations, or just like other things I'm reading, but specifically like text conversation screenshots. And one of my favorite ones is one that says like, it's like 3 texts in a row, and it says like the suffix Mr. like MR, the letter E, and then the second text is, I do get that feeling from your work. Third text, mysterious. And I'm like, first of all, this is a poem. Second of all, thank you. Third of all, like, I think that it's hilarious that I am potentially seen or not as like this complex, mysterious thing being, because I'm like, I'm over here in Moira world or Ultima Terra, or like really on the same block as everyone else. But like other people are like, what are you, what? And I'm like, that's like my favorite response to my work, is like just like a line of question marks, or people being like, like when people are just like, when I was doing a lot of anonymous surveys in like college, like in between like 2018 and 19, people would just like stand there and like read this questionnaire and like look at it and like look at it and think about it. And so like maybe the response that I like best was like this contemplation, or if not confusion, because like what I'm presenting is real, it's fact. I'm not even like creating it, I'm just kind of like spinning it or highlighting it, or even manipulating in some form. And so then the like the consideration, and then subsequent like time and also patience that people give what I'm giving to them is cool. Like when people are just like, you know that like viral YouTube video where it's that guy like slapping the hood of the car and he goes, would you just look at it?
Oh yeah.
Would you just look at it? That's me.
Yeah.
I'm just like, would you just look at this? And then people are like, oh yeah, okay. And then it's like also like when
I don't want to buy it, I just want to look at it.
Right. It's like it's like when people send you a meme from a private account and you say ha 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 ha, ha yeah, but you've never fucking seen it. Like you're never gonna see it, you're not gonna request it. And that's what I like, is when people kind of like are internalizing this confusion or like questions or something, and then what they're maybe showing on their face or saying back in response is like, what is that? And I'm like, what is it? You tell me.
That's cool. I enjoy those moments in when we come together and in our practice, because it's great. And I like to ask artists all the time, and you've already started to answer this question, is like, what are the best ways that people can support you as an artist? And it sounds like some of that is engaging in dialogue where no one knows the answer, and that we aren't actually going anywhere or doing anything.
It's like somewhere between, I feel like right now I have a list in my phone called Somewhere Between, and somewhere between like right now in this lockdown setting of like feeling like you've done 20 different things around your house, like you've read in this room, or you've gone outside, or you've moved from one side of the bed to the other. It's like you've done things and yet you've done nothing. Like you've physically moved or mentally or emotionally advanced, but like it's just been a couple of hours. So like somewhere between like your brain and what the clock says, or like your resume or other like I don't know, like socialized corporate ways of being like, oh, this is what you're doing. Like when you can add like a new thing to your resume, you're doing something.
There's
but
value
I'm over
attached.
here being like, I don't know. Yeah, like let's just have a conversation. And also like if you want to like I said, I'm you know, I had on my to-do list last year to make a website, and now that I have a computer, I guess maybe I'll consider it in the next 6 months. But something that would be supportive would be like, send me book like I just want to talk about book recommendations. My favorite question to ask people, especially new people I meet, like this is a question for all ages, all backgrounds, and that's why I like it, is what are you eating or reading? Because it seems like this rather accessible, open-ended question that is not limited to you know, a certain class or background or status in the world, is like, if you are telling me that you have been eating fruit snacks in your car, or you've been reading East of Eden, or anywhere in between, like the absolute rock bottom bare minimum to like you're 25 years old and you're a Rhodes Scholar. My cousin he's a Rhodes Scholar right now, and he also is like living in this like tricked out box truck turned house. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, sure, dude, like you just turned 25 and like in a year you're gonna have a fucking doctorate. That's fine. I'm also a scientist. Yeah. And so like yeah, I don't know.
And for people who are considering like creating those relationships for you or with you, Nikono says, I can highly recommend anything written by Rebecca Solnit.
Oh yeah.
And A Short History of Nearly Everything by Bill Bryson, which I really enjoyed that book.
Yes. Oh wait, also after this, like in the, you know, within the 1 o'clock hour, I'll be migrating from here to the bookstore. So yeah, like I said, we're taking a few customers now. So if anyone's like, what am I going to do with my Sunday? You just come get some like in-person book recommendations from me and my cool coworkers at the Novel Neighbor. It's in Webster Groves. We're very, very clean and
squeaky clean. You've never seen a book cleaner.
It's like every pretty much a fucking book club at this point, because I have to lock and unlock the door and be like, oh, you're the fourth person in here. It's so special. Let me know if there's anything that I can do for you.
They've laminated every page of every book in the entire...
Sorry, we didn't do that. Actually, plastic holds a little more germs, so we don't have time for that.
Yeah, what I... Also, something that I want to express to our audience who's interested in engaging with you in these things is that zoning in on that thing, like, tell me what you were eating, whether it was fruit snacks for lunch or a fish soup. Something that's cool, I think, about Moira is that she's open to having you communicate anything inside of that range.
Yes,
you know, like
anywhere from like last year, my friend bought boxes of Gushers, spliced open every Gusher, gushed the juice into a shot glass, and then 4 hours turned into maybe 40 seconds of her and her sister taking shots of Gushers. Yeah. That's what I want to hear about.
That's what she wants to hear about. Yeah, it's not about your new frogwa.
No. I want to hear about the fucking journey,
but it can be
through the grocery store that you took to take Gusher shots.
Yeah. Or that time that happens every couple of years when you decide, oh, Warheads weren't that sour. Let me find original Warheads and eat 20 of them until my tongue falls off.
Okay, and actually, speaking of Warheads, one of the things I sent you was like a list of thoughts that I have, and on it says, when I say that I need to clear my head, what I really mean is I'm going to eat a handful of wasabi peas. That's so true.
Yeah.
That you just up the ante every time. Like, first of all, wasabi peas are like really not that hot. My favorite ones are just like the generic wasabi peas in a box from Jay's International Food.
Oh yeah.
And
the best.
So I ate a big handful of wasabi peas, like probably like 17, but I didn't count. It was just like truly a handful, and I was like,
it's probably exactly 17. Yeah.
My brain is tingling. Like, you feel it in the back of your head, and then afterwards you're like, what epiphany will I have next?
You really got.
And the epiphany is, I want more wasabi peas.
Oh, it's a self-reflexive cycle.
It is.
I like to engage in a practice that I like to call talking shit. Oh. And what I do in Tiffany and I's relationship, my wonderful girlfriend and producer of the show, there are certain times in our lives where we just don't have anything to talk about, or we might have some pent up anger, maybe sometimes towards each other, because it happens in relationships, oftentimes towards the outside world. So we'll order a series of the spiciest food that we think that we can handle, and a little bit further than what we think we can handle, and then we'll eat it together. And during that practice, what I've noticed is the amount of spiciness is directly proportional to how much shit you're talking. So if
this is the type of science I want to hear, is like these spurious correlations of like spicy food to shit talking. Proceed.
And the spicier the food is, the more shit you have to talk to be able to handle how spicy the food is. Because if you're eating really spicy food and you're trying to have like a really mild conversation, if you're trying to talk about subtle, soft feelings, or the types of sheets that you're going to put on your bed, the experience.
Who talks about that?
Well, sometimes you got thread count.
Okay.
Sometimes, if you're speaking so lightly, the experience of heat in your mouth is just uncontrollable.
Yeah.
But instead, if you're just like, fuck this guy, I don't like it when this person does this, I think that they're being really rude, or any of these things, any of these ills that you're airing, the experience of heat in your mouth actually diminishes. So if you ever get into a position where you've eaten something too spicy, find someone that you love and just ask them to listen to you vent about all of the problems in your life, and the spiciness will go away.
Well, I have a plan already in mind for this act happening
Good.
In a matter of days. That's amazing. I feel like I had a thought in that. I do like, generally, if anyone like merely wants to talk about food.
Yeah.
I love that shit. I have a Google Doc, another list I have of food recommendations and reviews, because like, you have people, once upon a time, people traveled, and like in St. Louis, everyone seems to have lots of opinions about food, and we have really, really good food here. And yet then you have some fucking plebs being like, yeah, Sugar Fire has the best barbecue, and I'm like, no, that's false. That's fake news. The best barbecue comes from someone's flatbed trailer in a goddamn gas station parking lot, and it has no name. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we have so much more we can talk about, and we had a really great time with you all out there in the audience.
Thank you.
And now I'll say I had a great time with you. I was talking to the audience previously.
Well, no, I had a great time with not seeing them, and also seeing you and talking to you.
And we were seeing each other, both 4 eyes together, looking in opposite directions. And
with clear glasses around them.
Yeah, we're just trendy. The audience, you guys have been great today. Thank you for all the follows. Art Brunch, people don't just come on Art Brunch once. I know you might think so because we've only done 4, but it would be strange to have 2 of the same person on twice in 4 episodes. So Moira will be coming back on with us, hopefully at some point, and
to read you a story.
And to read stories and to do other stuff. Definitely take the leap. If you're interested in collaborating with Moira, that's something that she's saying to do. Shoot her a DM. And any final words before we go, Moira?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my final words would be, screenshots are cool, food and book recommendations are cool. If you have any words that consist of 4 letters, it's really, this is a list between me and my favorite collaborator primarily, but if you want to shoot me any 4-letter words that I don't already have on my list of maybe 200, then that would be cool. But only like I don't need, like, fuck is not on the list, despite that how often I say it. Like, that is not on the forward list. So the end.
All right, the end. Thank you all again. We love you all.
Yes.
Have a good rest of your day here.
Bye.